What if I told you that the Great Wall of China, the world's most iconic and monumental structure, hides secrets darker than its ancient stones could ever reveal? Stretching over 13,000 miles, this colossal fortress has long been celebrated as a symbol of Chinese strength and ingenuity. But beneath its majestic facade lies a chilling story of human suffering, political ambition, and a legacy shrouded in tragedy. Behind every stone is the echo of countless voices, millions of laborers, prisoners, and soldiers whose lives were sacrificed for a wall that was as much a prison as a protector. Join me as we unravel the hidden horrors, the forgotten stories, and the startling truths behind the Great Wall of China. Truths they don't teach you in history books. This isn't just a wall. This is a monument built on blood, sweat, and tears. And by the end of this video, you'll see the Great Wall in a way you never have before. Stay tuned, because the real story behind the Great Wall is darker, more dramatic, and far more haunting than you ever imagined. 1. The myth versus the reality. Most people think the Great Wall was built all at once to keep out invaders from the north. The truth is, it was built in sections over 2,000 years by different dynasties, each with different purposes and strategies. The first large-scale wall-building efforts began during the Qin dynasty, 221 to 206 BCE, under Emperor Qin Shi Huang, who unified China. But many parts were constructed earlier by smaller states, and others were added later by the Ming dynasty, 1368 to 1644. The wall was never a single continuous structure, but a series of walls, trenches, and natural barriers. 2. Built on the backs of the oppressed. Here's the darkest truth. The Great Wall was built largely through forced labor. Millions of peasants, soldiers, convicts, and prisoners were drafted into service. These workers faced brutal conditions, starvation, exhaustion, and disease. It is estimated that hundreds of thousands died during construction. Some say even more. Many were buried within the wall itself, earning it the grim nickname, the longest cemetery on Earth. 3. The price of ambition. Emperor Qin Shi Huang's obsession with immortality and power drove the massive construction project. Not only did he build the wall to defend his empire, but he also built it to demonstrate his control and authority. The harsh labor policies were part of his ruthless reign, where dissent was crushed and lives were expendable. Many historians believe the wall was as much about keeping the population under control as defending against invaders. 4. A wall that failed. Despite its massive size and grandeur, the Great Wall never truly stopped invaders from entering China. The Mongols, led by Genghis Khan, breached the wall multiple times in the 13th century. Later, the Manchu forces entered China through the wall's weaknesses in the 17th century, leading to the fall of the Ming dynasty. This reality exposes the wall's strategic weaknesses and the futility of relying on a static defense system in a vast and complex land. 5. Environmental and social impact. The construction and maintenance of the wall also had devastating effects beyond human lives. Massive deforestation to supply timber for construction led to soil erosion and long-term ecological damage. Local populations were uprooted, forced to relocate, or conscripted, disrupting entire communities. The wall contributed to a culture of isolationism that hindered China's relations with neighboring peoples for centuries. 6. The wall as a symbol, then and now. Over time, the Great Wall evolved from a military defense to a powerful symbol of national pride. During the 20th century, it became a symbol of Chinese resilience and unity. Today, it is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world, drawing millions annually. However, the harsh truths behind its construction are often glossed over or ignored in popular narratives. 7. Modern challenges and preservation. The Great Wall faces serious threats today. Natural erosion, weathering, and human damage are deteriorating large sections. Illegal construction and tourism-related destruction have accelerated its decay. Efforts to preserve the wall are complicated by its vast size and the challenge of balancing tourism with conservation. 8. Lessons from the wall's dark past. The Great Wall teaches us the cost of empire building and political ambition at the expense of human lives, the limits of physical barriers in solving deep political and social problems. The need to remember the human stories behind historical monuments. 9. The Wall and political propaganda. The Great Wall was used by successive rulers as a tool of political propaganda to legitimize their power. It symbolized strength and unity to the people, but masked the harsh realities of oppression and injustice. In some dynasties, it was presented as a divine or invincible protection, bolstering the emperor's cult of personality. 10. The Wall and forced migration. To build and guard the wall, the government forcibly relocated large numbers of people to remote, inhospitable frontier areas. These forced migrations caused cultural dislocation and suffering for entire communities uprooted from their ancestral homes. Many of these migrants never saw their homes again and were left to perish in harsh climates. 11. The Wall's laborers, forgotten lives. The identities of the workers were rarely recorded, erased by history. Archaeological evidence shows mass graves along the wall, revealing the terrible mortality rates. The men, women, and sometimes children forced into labor became faceless ghosts beneath the stones they laid. 12. The myth of the unbreachable wall. The popular myth that the wall was unbreachable is far from the truth. Historical battles show the wall was breached multiple times by cunning tactics, bribery, and inside help. This shows that military strength cannot rely solely on walls. Human factors play the decisive role. 13. The Wall and China's isolationism. The Great Wall contributed to a policy of self-imposed isolationism known as the closed-door policy. By emphasizing defense and separation, the wall encouraged China to cut off trade and cultural exchange with many neighboring peoples. This isolation had lasting effects on China's economic and technological development, setting it apart from the rest of the world for centuries. 14. The wall's role in ethnic tensions. The wall was a physical and symbolic boundary between the Han Chinese and various barbarian groups to the north. It fueled ethnic divisions and sometimes violent conflicts by reinforcing a narrative of us versus them. Even today, these historical divisions have echoes in modern ethnic and regional tensions within China. 15th. Environmental consequences. Beyond deforestation, the wall's construction disrupted natural habitats and migration paths of animals. The massive earthworks altered watersheds and contributed to desertification in some regions. These environmental impacts had long-term consequences for local agriculture and the livelihoods of rural communities. 16. The Great Wall's strategic failures and military lessons. Military experts point out that the wall's static defense was outdated against mobile cavalry forces like the Mongols. The wall's extensive length made it impossible to defend every section effectively. It teaches a critical lesson. Fortifications alone can never substitute for political strategy and diplomacy. 17. Modern exploitation and commercialization. In recent decades, parts of the Great Wall have been damaged or commercialized for tourism, often in ways that disrespect its history. Fake walls and reconstructed sections sometimes distort the original history and architecture, leading to misinformation. There is an ongoing debate between preservationists and developers on how best to protect this cultural heritage. 18. The Wall and China's global image. The Great Wall is a key element of China's soft power and cultural diplomacy. It's used in international imagery to symbolize China's ancient civilization, strength, and endurance. Yet, this polished image hides the complex human cost and political struggles behind its construction. 19th. Stories of heroism and resistance. Amidst the suffering, there are stories of bravery, laborers resisting harsh treatment, or locals protecting their lands. Some guards and soldiers stationed along the wall defected or collaborated with invaders, showing the complex human dynamics behind this colossal structure. These untold stories add layers of humanity to the wall's cold stones. 20. The wall in popular culture versus reality. Movies, documentaries, and literature often romanticize the Great Wall as a symbol of heroism and glory. This romanticization often erases the suffering, exploitation, and failures embedded in its history. Acknowledging these darker truths allows for a more honest and respectful appreciation of the wall's legacy. So, the next time you see the Great Wall of China, towering, majestic, and endless, remember this: It is not just a marvel of ancient engineering, but a monument to the resilience, suffering, and sacrifice of millions. A monument built on the backs of the oppressed, shaped by ambition, marred by tragedy, and scarred by the failures of history. If you found this story as eye-opening as I did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to dive deeper into the untold history. And tell me in the comments, what other monuments do you think hide dark secrets beneath their grandeur?